Hello everyone, Phoenix Knight here. Welcome to the channel, and welcome to a new playthrough on the channel. We're taking a break from my 1985 season replay in Season Ticket Baseball to pay a visit to the G.I. Joe universe as we play G.I. Joe, the deck building game from Renegade Game Studios. In this game, we're playing characters in the G.I. Joe universe trying to defeat the forces of Cobra via a deck building environment. So we'll go through our heroes first. First, we've got Scarlet up, and we'll go through each of the actual allies, because what you see here are the upgraded versions of the cards, not the actual starting heroes. When they come up, we'll go through them at that point. And we've got Snake Eyes that we're teaming up with her tonight. And we do have the starting version of Snake Eyes in hand. We'll go through that when it gets to his turn. So we've got a market deck. We'll go through the market here as first up. We have Clutch for a cost of 3 gives. I got to remember how these cards work because it's been a while. Cost to recruit value. So that's the cost you. That's the value. The value you get to recruit with if you use it for recruitment rather than for its effect. For each other Joe with vehicle skill on this mission, +1 wild skill. So we can give that any skill we need. Next up, we've got a Ram, which is another transport, can hold 1 Joe. +3 recon, and if we're on a ground mission, +2 wild skill. We'll talk about the starting transport in a minute. We've got a Shark for another transport, 1 on a sea mission, +2 wild skill and +1 vehicles. And I believe that's if we're on a sea mission. Yep, +2 tech. Next up, we've got a sniper rifle, which is gear. Costs 5 to acquire it, gives us 3 recruit value. And then a hit icon. Actually, that target icon is when it's played during a mission. Okay, until after the dice before using results that manipulate. So +2 wild skill for that. Then we've got Shipwreck and Poly with cost of 2, recruit value 1. 2 recon skills, and if there's a leader on this mission, +1 wild skill. And we've got Mainframe, which is just a 4 tech, costs 3 to acquire, gives a recruit value of 2. Our starting vehicle is the Vamp, which can take up to 4 Joes, no special bonuses there, and after the mission, return the Vamp to the hangar. Okay, we'll explain more about how everything else works. But I think we're all set, so let's jump in with Scarlet's turn up first. I'll use this as my turn marker. So the way the turn goes is we start off by refilling a story mission, and there is one. So we've built the deck, and we've got uncovering the double agent. Cobra sent a double agent right into the Joe's HQ. Will the Joes be able to find this agent of chaos? Needs a ground mission, and takes 2. Actually, no, it doesn't take 2 successes. That's the face down complications it gets. Hey, Jester, we're just starting out here. So at the end of each round, we'll draw a complication. We need 4 successes. If we succeed, we gain -2 threat, and we put Baroness into play. Recon and Stealth are the skills we can use on it. And failures +1 threat, put Baroness into play. So either way, we're going to end up with Baroness in play. And when do we get dealt those complications? I believe those come out right now, actually. Jester's saying this is a fun deck builder. He should play this sometime soon. And place them face down so it gets drawn, so they get drawn now. Okay. So we've got our 2 complications for uncovering the double agent. And then we don't have any start of mission effects. The only thing we've got here is the double agent. I don't feel like sending 3 Joes in after that. So I think I'm going to put the starter effect in the reserve, so Scarlet will get that back on her turn. Then we'll use the 3 Joes and a comms to draw. We'll use the comms to draw to discard an uncovered card. As much as I want to use the sniper rifle, we're not getting that anytime soon. So I'll discard that and replace it with a halo jump for 5, gives a recruit value of 3. On a target player may add 1 Joe to this mission, ignoring the transport capacity. So that was our comms done. Then with a 3, let's see, we need recon and stealth. I think, honestly, I'm just going to grab the ram, since that'll give us recon to start the mission against the double agent with. That costs 2, and zap costs 3, so the extra 1 is going to float away. Then we'll discard that and draw back up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll go through, and she gets second effort back as well. We'll go through Scarlet when she comes back to the hand, or when we come back to her turn. As for Snake Eyes, we actually get to go through his leader. So he gives a recruit value of 1, except we're not going to be using him for recruit value. If Snake Eyes defeats a side mission, target player draws 1 card, costs 6 to promote, which we'll go through that if we ever are able to promote. What to do? Let's see, recon and stealth. I don't like the idea of sending Snake Eyes alone against Baroness, though. Especially not heading into a mission with 2 complications on it. Although we will be actually getting a lot of dice on this, depending on how bad those complications are. Because we are sending her on we would be sending him on a ground mission. So that'd be 2. That would be guaranteed at least 7 dice against that mission. Because we'd have the 2 stealth from Snake Eyes, then another 5 from the ram, since we are sending the ram into a ground mission. As much as I don't like the idea, I think we are going to go ahead. Let's see, end phase. Okay, so that's at the end of the round that happens. Yeah, I think we're going to gamble and send Snake Eyes and the ram again, alone, against Baroness. So we get... So as I mentioned, that takes recon and stealth. So we're using stealth from Snake Eyes, which gives us an automatic 2 dice. Then plus 3 recon for the ram gives us 5 dice. And gives us another 3 dice. And then since we're sending it into a ground mission, we get another 2 dice. So we've got a total of 7 dice coming on this mission. But we need to draw our complications first. So our first complication is a Rattler attack. Need air combat and 2 on vehicles. At the end of your turn, plus 1 threat. We're going to give that to Scarlet. And then the other complication is captured. Story mission, discard 1 Joe from this mission. Oh, that's gross. Unfortunately, we only had Snake Eyes, so we have to discard him from the mission, which is very unfortunate. But sometimes that's the way it goes. So we lose the 2 stealth. We still have the ram that we're actually, since our only Joe got discarded, we probably don't even get to try the mission. That would be problematic if we couldn't even try that. Yikes. Only 1 mission per Joe. Yeah, I just got hosed. That was brutal. So the ram goes back to Snake Eyes' hand. He will pull that in at the start of his turn. That'll go back to the hangar the next time he draws it. I guess we might as well use the vamp at this point. That was brutal. So we'll use the vamp. Let's see, do we have anything in Scarlet's hand that can help with that? No, we don't. Yeah, that was an absolutely terrible draw. So I think with that in mind, we are going to sit on that until that comes back. Ouch. Yeah, no kidding, we got hosed. Let's see, then double checking. Place them face down next to the story mission. So we're going to keep getting complications. I do not want that mission hanging out long. we might have to bite the bullet and go for it anyway, even though I wasn't going to. So yeah, I think we are going to go ahead with this mission anyway. So Snake Eyes is going to send 3 Joes into this one, and then Scarlet is going to contribute a Joe of her own. So we've got a total of 4 dice. Always send 1 Joe, just in case you need to discard a Joe. Unfortunately, I had the Ram, which only had a capacity of 1. So looks like we're going to get our 4 dice instead against the. Looks like we're going to get our 4 dice against the double agent, and we need 4 successes. Which, fortunately, that is exactly 4 successes. So we reduce threat by 2, except we're all the way at the end. But either way, Baroness will go into play. Let's see, Baroness, here we are. We need Stealth and Tracker, and story missions have to be started by a leader. All right, so those go back to discard piles. The Vamp goes back to the hangar. I'm going to move this up just a little bit, so I've got room for a discard pile. We'll do that with it. We'll have room for a discard pile for the complications, and somewhere where I can actually put in-play complications into play. So Snake Eye, so Baroness goes away, and I did technically see what the next mission is going to be. Then target teammates, that would only affect him. We'll put that in reserve, I guess. That way it comes right back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And 6. All right, then end of round, we increase threat by 1. Where's the end of round? Here we go. So story mission, nothing there. Cobra Operative, all was quiet there. Any effects on the threat meter, +1 threat. And then we move it up again. So we're still in the green, where we're continuing to increase that by 1 threat. Okay. So that brings us back over to Scarlet's turn. And this mission goes into the success pile. And we get our next mission, which is... Oh, come on. Preventing the satellite launch. If Cobra is able to launch the satellite into space, their device can pinpoint any target in the world. Need 1 complication with that, and it's a land mission. At the end of each player's turn, they gain a Cobra Trooper. Need 5 successes? Yeah, I guess so. This is a level 1 mission. At the end of each player's turn, they gain a Cobra Trooper, which is another side mission that you have to defeat. Success reduces threat by 2. Failure increases threat by 1 and double puts Baroness into play. So ideally, we want to clear that while Baroness is already out. But we get to look at Scarlet's starting leader. So once again, a recruit value of 3, 2 skill on martial arts. And if Scarlet starts a mission, a target player may destroy 1 card in their discard pile. All right, so... And unfortunately, Baroness takes Stealth and Tracker, which we do not have any of that right now. So... And we're not in a great position for trying to deal with the satellite launch right now. Although we do need to deal with that Rattler attack sooner rather than later. So I think we will go ahead in the Vamp. And we'll go after the Rattler attack. So the Vamp can take up to 4 Joes. We are going to send... Actually, do we even want to deal with that right now? Because we're going to be increasing threat by 1, which means this is going to get out of control in a hurry, since we can't get vehicles out, and I think the answer is no. So I will reserve second effort, and we'll play out all 3 of our Joes for 3. I will grab Clutch to give me a vehicles card. Oh, that goes to the top of my deck. And then replacing that immediately will be Distraction, which is cost 3 to acquire and gives me a recruit value of 1. Target effects change all single hit die results to doubles. And then all of these go back to the discard pile. 1. We'll shuffle these up, and I will increase the threat from Rattler attack in a second. Let's see. At the end of... So when does end of turn happen? Discard your effect. So story mission, Cobra. Okay, so the Cobra Trooper should be in the deck already. That goes into the discard pile, but since I'm getting ready to shuffle, which I'm going to do that off camera. Good grief. While I'm shuffling, I will address the post I made on my community tab earlier this morning. So I was earlier this afternoon, I should say. So I am changing the side I'm doing for Mystical Munchies this month. Instead of Shang-Chi's Salt and Pepper Squid Rings, I am doing the Yancey Street Kujal instead. I was looking into getting the ingredients for the squid rings, and I realized it was going to be a pain in the neck to get some of the things I needed. So I'm going to change it out and do the Yancey Street Cudgel instead. I'm probably pronouncing that recipe all kinds of wrong, but that is a Jewish recipe. So I'm probably pronouncing it wrong. Okay, I do not hate this hand at all. Second effort comes back to the hand. And now we're back over to Snake Eyes. Coming off of an absolutely atrocious draw. Story missions have to be started by a leader. Baroness is a group mission. But again, stealth and tracker, we don't have any of those skills until the ram comes back. Oh, we need to get a complication for the satellite launch, and I almost forgot. I've got to raise the threat for Scarlet. Let's see. And we don't need tech anywhere as it stands right now, but we do need explosives. So I'm going to reserve a second effort. Play out the comms, which will let me discard a card. It'll be the Halo jump that I discard. And we'll put out a detonator. It costs 4 to acquire, the recruit value of 2. And target player may destroy a card in their discard pile. Then we'll play out 3 Joes, which will let me grab... Or let me grab Zap, since we are going to need that for the satellite launch. And actually, it would help if my discard pile moved to the right place. And then replacing that will be Expert Training for 4. If you control a leader, 2 recruit value, and another recruit value of 2. Diffuse is basically El Hot Garbaggio at this point. 1. And Snake Eyes should also have a Cobra Trooper at this point. All right. One, two, three, 4. And we've got a Cobra Trooper in Snake Eyes' hand. That's delightful. Anyway, end of turn. Threat goes up by 1. Or end of round, I should say. And then that's back over to Scarlet. All right, that second effort should be in Snake Eyes' hand, by the way. Let's see. So story missions have to be started by a leader, which means these have to be started by a leader as long as Baroness is in play. So I think we are going to send... This isn't a super good start. It'll take some effort to come back and win this. No kidding. So I am going to look at the... I'm going to work on the Rattler attack here. We need vehicles for that. I will send Clutch and a Joe and a regular GI in the Vamp. So we get 3 dice on that. Let's see if we can actually recover this mess. Well, that is 3 hits, so at least the Rattler attack is gone for a consolation. For each other Joe with a vehicle skill, I believe the regular GIs wouldn't count, but we will destroy him from the deck. And the Vamp goes back to the transport. We still have the problem of Baroness, of course. who's making sure that story missions have to get started with a leader. Which unfortunately I don't even feel comfortable going after Baroness, but I will play Diffuse so I can reduce threat by 1 for something anyway. Then for a 2, and we've got a second effort, which I will reserve that. Let's see, for 2, we will just, actually, that needs recon. Yeah, let's go ahead and grab Shipwreck and Polly. And then replacing that will be reinforcements for 3, recruit value of 1. You may gain 2 if you... Oh wait, this is a card that apparently you can't use in solo play. Well, we're playing two-handed, so it's probably still good. You may gain 2 recruit value. If you do, put the next card you recruit this turn into a teammate's hand. We used the 2 for Shipwreck and Polly that we put on top. Let's see, that's still end of round. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Second effort comes back. All right, and then that brings us over to Snake Eyes' turn. Let's see what Snake Eyes wants to do here. Martial arts and explosives. Scarlet's actually got that, so I think we are... Well, we do have to play out the Cobra Trooper. Stealth and Tracker. Let's go for... well, let's actually see if we can clear Baroness out here. So we're going to go... So we are going to send the Vamp against Baroness. We'll send Snake Eyes and a GI. Baroness is a group mission, so Scarlet can contribute as well if she wants to. She will contribute... she'll contribute 2 GIs, which will give us a total of 5 dice against Baroness, and we need 4 successes. We need 4 hits to take her down. So let's see if we can do anything with that. Well, actually, Snake Eyes will use a second effort. I'll actually remember that I've got that. So he'll get to reroll a die. Which that'll work. So that's 4 successes. That will take Baroness down. Which means now story missions don't have to be started by a leader. Both of those are going to move to Snake Eyes' discard pile. Those 2 will move to Scarlet's. And then, it's not defeated by the end of your turn, discard it. Well, the Vamp will return to the hangar, but we are going to go for it again. We're going to use it again. I'd rather use Zap on the explosives. And yes, bye-bye Baroness. She needed it. Well, I probably did that wrong, because when I finally clear, if I fail to prevent the satellite launch, Baroness is going to be right back. So I wonder if maybe I don't just try to drop the hammer on that now. Because I'm going to have at least 4 dice if I just send Snake Eyes' forces against that, but I'm going to be chipping something in from Scarlet as well. So let's try that. We'll leave the Cobra Trooper in the deck. So Zap and the GI will give us 4 dice to start with. Then Scarlet will chip in... Scarlet as well. And then we need to draw our complication for that. We've got company. Add 1 Cobra Battalion to the leftmost uncovered card in the lineup, which right now is Distraction. So the Cobra Battalion need 2 hits to take out, and any 1 skill, but players can't interact with covered cards, and we immediately draw another complication. And it's got +1 difficulty, so now it's a 6. We are at least rolling 6 dice against it. We need 6 successes, though, to clear it. And if we fail, Baroness comes right back. So let's see what happens here. That's more like it. So that's a total of 10 hits, which means the underwater entrance can F off. The satellite mission, we'll turn that down. Prevent the satellite launch reduces threat by 2, which means that goes in the success pile. That goes to Scarlet's discard pile. Then we'll discard all of that. And Snake Eyes has got nothing to buy with. So Cobra Trooper goes away at the end of the turn. We've got nothing else for end of turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, joy. This is not going well. All right. Okay, so we're at end of round. No story mission effect. Yeah, I can't believe I made that either. That was a great roll, and you know almost better than anybody what my dice rolls can be like. End of round threat goes up by 1, and then it goes up again. Actually, yeah. You got a live stream you're hosting in a few, so catch you later. Catch you later, Jester. Hopefully I'll be able to stop by for that a little bit later, or at least maybe catch the tail end of it. Okay, so we're coming back to Scarlet's turn now. But we're flipping over a new mission, and our new mission is to rescue the scientist. The scientist responsible for the mass device technology should know how to counteract its effects, but the scientist is in Cobra clutches. Cobra's clutches. Air mission, X cards, where X is equal to the number of players, which is 2. At the end of each round, each player gains a Cobra Trooper. Success, reduce threat by 1, target player draws 2 cards, or fail, -4 or +2 threat, each player gains a Cobra Trooper, and we need 4 hits to clear it. We can use vehicles or stealth. Over to Scarlet on that one. I think I forgot to draw the rest of her. Oh no, she contributed 2 Joes to the mission. Never mind. She's going to reserve Shipwreck and Polly, I think, and discard everything else. 1, 2. Three, 4, 5. And that comes back to hand. Okay. I don't completely hate that. I just mostly hate that. And I hate this even more. Let's go for a recruitment value of 3, which will get us a shark. We'll reserve the diffuse. Actually, yeah. And then we'll play we should have replaced this with rock and roll. 6 to recruit, gives us a recruit value of 3. 4 recon, 3 marksman. Comms will... Comms will have to discard... We'll discard the detonator. Replacing that will be cover fire for 4. Recruit value of 2. Defeat a Cobra battalion in the lineup. Then everything else moves over. 1, 2... We're shuffling everything here. As Conflict Board Gaming now joins us here, you're just in time to watch me try to recover from a disastrous start. Things got off to a pretty rough start, but we seem to be in okay-ish shape. Been interested in this game. Well, glad to be of help on that. As I'm just shuffling up Snake Eyes' deck to the side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Admittedly, I'm not the biggest fan of G.I. Joe in the world, but we're giving this a try anyway. Story mission, each player gains a Cobra Trooper, which is going to give us more problems. Okay, so those go to the discard pile. Threat goes up by 1. And then I don't think it goes up again. I think that's only for the specific solo rules. Yeah. Okay, so I've been doing that wrong. Diffuse should be back in Snake Eyes' hand as well. Okay. So now looking at Scarlet, she's got a Cobra Trooper that she's got to play out. Vehicles or stealth? We've got Wild Skill and Vehicles. So if we use, unfortunately, the Shark only has capacity of one Joe. So that's very much a risk we're going to be taking if I want to make sure I don't have any problems here. I'm going to take a quick drink of my Crystal Light, though, while I think what I want to do next. The thing I'm trying to be careful of here is the last time I tried to send a single Joe against a mission like that, one of my complications just completely hosed me on the mission. But I think I have to try again. So we're going to go try to rescue the scientist. We're going to send Clutch and the Shark, which will give me, in theory, a total of 5 dice, as we're going to give the Wild Skill and other vehicles. Since it's an air mission, we don't get the vehicle bonus. So we resolve the complications. First up, disrupt the drone strike. We'll give that to Snake Eyes. It's a difficulty of 2, recon, and stealth. At the end of your next turn, fail the current story mission and discard this card. And then our next complication is Major Blood appears, which puts Major Blood into play. Major Blood, here we go. Difficulty of 4, marksman and vehicles. At the start of each player's turn, place a Cobra Battalion on an uncovered card in the lineup with a cost of 5+. So we probably need to make him go away sooner rather than later. But at least Clutch will give us a chance to try to clear out the story mission. So we need 5 dice, but we also need 4 successes against it. Which, that'll do nicely. So with that in mind, so we reduce threat, and who do I want to draw 2 cards? Do I want Scarlet to draw 2 cards, or do I want Snake Eyes to draw 2 cards? I think we will give the draw on that to Snake Eyes, because he's got to clear this drone strike as well, and that was not a great draw. So that will go into the success pile. Let's see, then Major Blood. So that goes back to discard piles. Major Blood takes marksman and vehicles, and he's a group mission. What does Snake Eyes have? He may try to start that on his turn. Actually, never mind that. So place a Cobra Battalion. Well, joke's going to be on him because we're going to be covering up the last of the cards with a cost of 5+. Let's go ahead. Yeah, we can't really do much of anything, so I think we'll just use the Vamp and try to clear this Cobra Trooper out. So we'll send Shipwreck and Polly and a regular GI against it. So that'll be 3 dice, and we're trying to get 1 success. Let's reroll that 2 success. Wow, that was a terrible roll, but fortunately for us, a 1 is enough to clear out the Cobra Trooper. We'll destroy the GI since it was part of a successful mission. Shipwreck and Polly move to the discard pile. The Vamp will go back to the hangar. Let's see. And Major Blood is still going to be a problem that unfortunately is going to persist for a little while. I will reserve Scarlet, and then I will use Comms to clear out Rock and Roll to see if we can maybe shut off Major Blood's ability completely. And we can with Jinx. Cost of 3, recruit of 1, 4 martial arts, and if Jinx defeats a story mission, return her to your hand. Scarlet's got nothing else to draw. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And Scarlet comes back to her hand. Okay. And then it becomes Snake Eyes' turn. Major Blood's effect would kick in, but since there's nobody with a cost of 3 in the lineup, that doesn't happen. But we do get a new story mission, and we are in Act 2. So now we shuffle all of the complications along with Act 2, right? Yes. After the first mission of a new act is placed, and all complication cards and shuffle them in. Okay. Yikes. Scan for the secret location. It's a race against time. The Joes need to find the location of the rare elements before Cobra can power the device. At the start of each player's turn, add a Cobra battalion to the lineup. We need 6 hits to clear this. At -2 threat, also end of round, that should have gone up by 1. Each player draws a card, takes tracker and tech, and +2, attach 1 face-down complication to the next story mission. So surprisingly, we don't have Snake Eyes. The start of Snake Eyes' turn is passed, but we need to clear that drone strike. Actually, I wonder if it might be tempting to just go after Major Blood. Although, again, the joke's kind of on him right now. Although we do need to get rid of that scan for the secret location sooner rather than later, because that is going to add a Cobra battalion to the lineup. And unlike Major Blood's effect, that doesn't care about the cost of the card. So we do need to be very mindful of that. Tracker and tech is what we're looking at against the scan for the secret location, and marksman and vehicles is what we're against for Major Blood. So we've got the Cobra Trooper and the Ram going back out. The Ram hosed Snake Eyes badly last time. Honestly, we probably are fine if we want to ignore the story mission, because the drone strike's going to fail that on our next turn. So on the end of this turn. So I think the better play here is to try to get rid of this Cobra Trooper. So I will use let's use the Ram for Snake Eyes, and we'll send a regular Joe after him for a total of 4 dice. We need 1 success against the Cobra Trooper. Which, that'll do nicely. So we'll destroy that GI, and then the Cobra Trooper will move over to the Cobra Trooper discard pile. Actually, at the start of... Oh no, that came out on Snake Eyes' turn, so that's actually not going to be a huge problem for us. I think with that in mind, though... Let's see, we just barely have enough. So I will use Diffuse to lower threat by 1. Then I'll reserve Comms, and I'll use my 3 to grab Jinx. And then replacing that will be Cover Girl for 7. 4 explosives, 4 tech, but she costs 7 to acquire. So now Major Blood will be a thing, which means we will draw back up. And when do we actually resolve end of turn effects? All end of turn effects. Okay, story mission is resolved first, but there's nothing there. Then followed by any Cobra card effects, including side missions. So disrupting the drone strike will go off, which means we will fail the current story mission. And then discard this card. So scan for the secret location. goes there, which means we increase threat by 2, and we attach a complication to the next story mission. Then discard hand and everything we played, then draw back up to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, Jinx actually goes to the top of the deck. I always get that wrong. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm so used to these so many deck builders where when you gain a card, it goes to your discard pile rather than your hand or the top of your deck. Okay, resolve all end of turn effects, yada yada yada. Okay. All right, so now we're at the end of the round. So story mission, nothing there. Card effects, nothing there. Threat meter, we put another Cobra Battalion into the lineup, which this is going to be a big problem. So now we move over to Scarlet's turn. At the start of the turn, we put a Cobra Battalion on a card with cost 5+. That would be Cover Girl. And then the story mission coming out, the Joes surrender. Oh, fantastic. The eyes of the world are on the Joes as they are forced to negotiate a timeline for surrender. Will they bend to the international pressure or stand up and refuse? At the 2 complications, at the end of each round, +1 difficulty, or +1 threat. If there's no leader on this mission, +3 difficulty. Success -3. Each player destroys the highest cost Joe in their hand. Takes recon only, and +1 threat, put Baroness into play. I think I put Baroness into the deck instead of the... Yep. So Baroness should actually be in the leader pile. We're still not in a good spot, though. Let's not kid ourselves on that one. Let's see. So looking at Scarlet's hand, we get another 2 complications for that. And we still have got not a lot that can help with that. At the end of the round, we're going to just be going into +1 threat. We don't have recon in our hand, so we can't really deal with that. I think we are going to try to go against Major Blood. Do we have marksman or vehicles in Snake Eyes' hand? We do not, which is also extremely unfortunate. But I think we will use the Vamp on Major Blood. So Scarlet will chip in 3 GIs. Snake Eyes will send a regular GI into that. So we've got 4 dice, but we need 4 successes against Major Blood. Let's see what we can do here. Well, that is exactly 4 successes. So we get rid of Major Blood, which will stop that complication. So those go to Scarlet's deck. That goes to Snake Eyes'. The Vamp is gone. And now, since we defeated... Actually, that's a group mission. We'll use the Vamp again to try to go after the Cobra Battalion using Scarlet and the GI. If Scarlet starts a mission, which she will, target player may destroy a card in their discard pile. I will have Snake Eyes take a GI out of his discard pile. Then with 3 dice, we're going to try to defeat... And of course we had a die fall behind the table. So actually I've got an extra die right here. I'll go find that other die later. So we need 2 hits to take out the Cobra Battalion over Cover Girl. Which somehow we get 1 success. So the Vamp goes back to the hangar. These go to the discard pile. And Diffuse, which we can't use, so we will reserve that. And then we'll draw it back up. Well, that's just wonderful. 1, 2, 3, 4. Delightful. And back over to Snake Eyes. At least Major Blood is out of play now, so we don't have to worry about the... Let's see, at the end of each round, +1 threat. Okay. That takes Recon, which unfortunately we've got no Recon right now. What we have, though, are 3 Cobra battalions that we could stand to get rid of. So let's go... Let's start off in the... I guess we're gonna give the Vamp a workout this turn. We'll start off by sending Snake Eyes against the battalion over Cover Girl once again. So we get 2 dice on that, trying to get 2 successes. And instead we get completely shut out. All right, let's try that again. Actually, I'm not even going to bother with a second effort. We'll try that again with Zap. We get 3 dice this time. Give me a break. Actually, this time we'll use second effort. See if we can get rid of one of those. See if we can get rid of that one. Jinx. There we go. Get rid of a Cobra battalion, which unfortunately is going to be coming right back because we're going to be heading into end of round here very shortly. Unfortunately, Jinx didn't defeat a story mission, so she goes to the discard pile. Comms. Ugh. I will reserve comms, I guess. 1. We're not doing too great here, Conflict. It's unfortunate, but it's the way it goes sometimes. Hopefully you don't mind. Hopefully you're not going to mind too much baseball on the channel because that's going to be most of what I'm doing for the next couple of months since I just started my 1985 season replay in Season Ticket Baseball. So we'll be back in the thick of that tomorrow night. This was a little break from that. But we'll be back, like I said, we'll be back to business tomorrow night on that. One, two, three, 4. And comms comes back to hand again. End of round, no story. Well, actually, there is a story mission effect. +1 threat. Then we've got card effects, which there are none in play right now. Then we have the threat meter, which puts another Cobra battalion out. We'll put that over cover fire this time. How do we only have 1? Oh. Aren't we supposed... Oh, I think I put the other Cobra battalion... Yep, I put the other Cobra battalion here down under the dice tower because I'm smart. We've only got 2 Cobra battalions left, though, so we need to be very careful of that. Over to Scarlet's turn next. Let's see what she can do with this. We got another Cobra Trooper that we have to play. And we've still got nothing to go after the story mission with. Well, I think we'll start off with the Vamp and we'll go after the Cobra Trooper. I want to try to keep that under control as much as I can. Fortunately, that is a side mission, so we can use Diffuse to get the threat down a little bit. We need 1 success, which I would say is we're likely to get, but you've seen how I've been rolling tonight. Another 0. Need I say more? We do have a second effort, which I'll use because why not? There we go. That at least gets rid of the Cobra Trooper. All right. I'll use Diffuse to reduce threat by 1 and reserve comms. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. This is doable, I think. Then over to Snake Eyes. Let's see what he's got. He's got a Cobra Trooper to start with. Joy. Well, let's get in the vamp and start trying to clear some of this out. We'll use Zap to go after a Cobra Battalion. Actually, we'll use Zap to go after a Cobra Battalion. We get 3 dice on that. Wow. We'll use 3 on a Cobra Battalion because we're basically just treading water at this point is what we're doing. Where was that roll when I was trying to roll for taking on the the other Cobra Battalion? Give me a break. Reserving comms, Cobra Trooper goes back to the discard pile. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Jesus, Mary, and the Weed Donkey. All right, end of round. Threat goes up by 1. We put another Cobra Battalion out, which will put that over reinforcements. And then we're back to Scarlet again. Shark goes into the hangar. Then, well, I think we're going to go for the vamp. Yeah, we'll use Shipwreck and Polly for recon. We'll use a GI, and then Snake Eyes to keep the leader thing from being a problem. I'll throw Snake Eyes in for the extra die, even though the stealth doesn't match up. So now we get our complications. First up, Fang Squadron. I'll give that to... Who do I want to give that to? I'll give that to... I think Scarlet's probably going to have a better chance of dealing with that. Just she's got vehicles in her hand, so I'll give that to Scarlet to deal with. That's an explosives or vehicles at the end of your turn, +1 threat. Excuse me. Next up, we've got a Rattler attack. That's vehicles. Ugh. Well, I'm going to give that one to... Jeez. I'm going to give that one to Snake Eyes, even though our problems are starting to pile up. And we've got company. Add 1 Cobra Battalion to the leftmost uncovered card in the lineup. Immediately draw and resolve another complication. This is a big problem, because now if we need to put out another Cobra Battalion and we can't, we lose the game. So another complication is Overwhelming Force. Martial Arts or Marksman. At the end of your turn, +1 threat. And the threat's starting to pile up. I'm going to give that to Snake Eyes and try to deal with that on his turn. Great. Things are just going completely haywire on us here. Sorry, throat was getting a little dry. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 dice, and we're going against the Joe's Surrender. And since we've got Snake Eyes in play, we don't have to worry about the +3 difficulty. No successes unless we've got a reroll. Well, a reroll wouldn't even do us any good because we need to get to 3 successes, and that was exactly 0. So yeah, we are going to fail that one, which will increase threat by 1 and put Baroness back into play, which says that story missions have to be started by a leader. So we did bump threat by 1 already. And yeah, we are very much in a we're in a snafu, to say the least. So that one goes to the fail pile. I somehow don't think this game's going to last too much longer the way things are going here. Especially since threat is just going to start piling up on us like crazy. Yeah, let's go with the Vamp, and we'll send Clutch and a GI against one of the Cobra battalions. We'll say the one over Mainframe, because why not? 3 dice. I don't know where these rolls got off to earlier, or these rolls were earlier in the game when I really needed them, but apparently they're starting to come out now. Let's see. Then we will reserve comms, and we'll draw back up. We also have to increase threat by 1 because it's the end of Fang's turn. Not Fang, end of Scarlet's turn. And now Shadow is going to have to clear at least one of these side missions. Because if he doesn't, we're just going to lose the game on the end of the round. So over to Shadow, which pulls a new story mission out. Grab the rare crystal element. Cobra won't give up the rare elements to power the mass device without a fight, and it looks like they've learned from their earlier mistakes. Ground mission, 2 complications. Baroness is double in play again. Mission is +1 difficulty for each mission in the success pile. We've got 3, so it's a 5 difficulty. Success, -2. -2 threat, defeat all Cobra battalions in the lineup. 5 successes, any one skill. Fail, +2, shuffle the Cobra officers and put 1 at random into play. Well, we get the RAM. Oh, we need 2 complications for that. 1, 2. We're only going to get 1 shot at one of these missions. Let's see, we need vehicles, martial artists, or marksmen. Well, I think we're going to use... I think we're going to have to use the Shark against the... I think we're going to use the Shark against the Rattler attack. Unfortunately, the transport type is a ship, so we don't get the bonus on that. Let's see, 2 wild skill +1, so we get 4 dice against it, and we need 2 successes. We do have a second effort that I will almost certainly be using, just to make sure I keep from losing. Or try to keep from losing. Which, that is 2 successes, so Rattler attack does go away at least. So fortunately we don't need that. I will use Diffuse, though, to reduce... Well, actually that's kind of a bad thing, because that's reducing it back by 1, where we're putting out another Cobra. Although, when we increase it again by 1 for overwhelming force, we are going to get out of that range. So, yeah. That's great. Yeah, and there's really nothing I can do with that. I'll keep the second effort in reserve, and we'll draw back up. We do increase by 1 threat for the end of the turn. Okay. Let's see. Threat meter, yada, yada, yada. Resolve the effects in the order. Okay. Right. In the order listed. So, story mission. Okay. That's great. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, joy. Okay, so story mission doesn't have an end of round penalty. No card effects. We put another Cobra Battalion out. And yes, Dice, I know that better than a lot of people. Dice will always fail you at the most critical time. And then that goes up by 1. Right. Well, let's see. So any one skill... Excuse me. Yikes. So we've definitely got our hands full with this one. If we go for the Fang Squad, if we go for the grab the crystal element and lose, we just lose the game. So I need to be damn sure we're going to clear that, and we've got any one skill. Martial arts, and I'm pretty sure, yep, Snake Eyes has that in hand. So I think here we've got to risk it. So we'll use the Vamp on this one. We've got to start it with a leader, though. Actually, that works. So the Vamp, Scarlet will start the mission in the Vamp. She'll bring a GI with her. As for Snake Eyes, he's going to contribute Jinx and a GI. So we're going to be rolling a total of 6, 7, 8 dice, assuming nothing goes sideways with the complications. Let's see what we've got here. Ambushed. Story mission +1 difficulty, so it's now a 6. We need to immediately draw and resolve another complication. Next complication is Hiss Tank Attack, which probably means we just lose the game. We'll give that to... do we give that to Snake Eyes? I think the answer is we have to. So that'll be our other complication. And our last one is Override Security Systems, Tech and Martial Arts. I think we just lose the game here, unless somehow... well, either way, we're basically screwed here. So I will give that... I think I'll give it to Snake Eyes, but I'm honestly just delaying the inevitable at this point. So 6, 7, 8 dice against the grab the rare crystal element. So we'll roll 7. Actually, let me see if I can find that last die, since I do need to roll all 8. Let's see. I heard it land, but I didn't see its final resting place. So bear with me while I get that. Actually, I'm going to do this. There it is. I heard the initial impact, but I didn't hear where it finally came to rest, because it came to rest on the carpet. So we get all 8 dice. If we clear this, we reduce threat by 2 and defeat all 4 Cobra battalions. But if we fail, we just lose the game on the spot. Which that is 6 successes, so we will clear that. Reducing threat by 2 and defeating all 4 Cobra battalions. That was a thing that needed to happen. That goes in the success pile, but we're still very much up a creek in this one. And since Jinx defeated a story mission, Snake Eyes gets that back in his hand, whereas everything else gets discarded. And then we've still got the problem. Well, we've still got the problem with a threat meter here, although it's a bit less of one now, in theory. Let's see, what is Scarlet going to do on her turn? She's going to send a regular GI in the ram against the Fang Squadron. So we're using that as a... Actually, hold on. That's actually recon, so never mind that plan. That would be explosives or vehicles. Yeah, let's not. That should be in success because we did success. Yeah, wait. No, we failed on Joe's surrender. We just grabbed the rare crystal element. So that goes away. That's a group mission. Stealth and tracker. Do we go after Baroness? I think the answer is yes, we go after Baroness. So we'll use the Vamp. Fortunately, Baroness is a group mission, not a story mission. So we'll send 2 GIs from Scarlet, and then Snake Eyes will chip in. Snake Eyes is his leader, and a regular GI. So we get 2, 3, 4, 5 dice, trying to get 4 successes. Let's be honest, we're very much treading water in this one. But that is 5 successes. That will get rid of Baroness once again. That's probably the 3rd time I've had to take her out this game. So that's not just nothing, but it's mostly nothing, let's be honest. We'll reserve, we'll reserve Diffuse and discard Comms. 1, 2, 3, 4. Five. Okay. And then because we didn't clear Fang Squadron, threat increases by 1. Now over to Snake Eyes' turn, we've got to clear some of these missions or we just lose. We've got a Cobra Trooper to deal with as well, and we're only going to get 1 shot at this. Actually, we probably are going to lose at the end of the round anyway. So I think we are going to send... We're going to use the Vamp and send Jinx against Overwhelming Force. 4 dice, and we need 3 successes. Which that's exactly 3 successes. So we get rid of Overwhelming Force, and since that was not a story mission, Jinx goes to the discard pile. We'll reserve second effort because why not? Cobra Trooper moves to the discard pile. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hand doesn't really matter right now because at the end of Snake Eyes' turn, threat goes up by 2. Then we go through end of round. Oh, you should have had a story mission for Snake Eyes. Secure the rare element. Rare liquid element. The ocean floor holds many mysteries, but that'll be the least of the Joe's problems if they don't stop Cobra from obtaining the rare liquid. Ship transport. At the end of each player's turn, add a Cobra battalion to the lineup. -2. This would have put Baroness in play for the 4th time. Baroness is the woman who just won't leave us alone. So at the end of each player's turn, we'd add a Cobra battalion to the lineup. Not that it really matters for Snake Eyes. We'd put it over probably Cover Girl because why not? But at the end of the round, but I already advanced for the end of turn. So at the end of the round, we'd put another Cobra battalion in the lineup. Then we'd advance threat. We'd end up at the top of the threat meter, and we would lose the game. And that will do it for this playthrough of G.I. Joe, the deck building game. I was trying to remember what I played for a second there. That started off rough, and we just never really got off track on that one. So I do still enjoy this game, but good grief, can it be punishing? So it'll probably hit the table again, but I just needed to take a break from my 1985 replay of season ticket baseball, which we will be back to that again with Block 9. As for 1985 tomorrow night, we will be at Jack Murphy Stadium in San Diego, California, as the Pittsburgh Pirates, the defending 1991 World Series champions, who are so far going nowhere in this replay, will be in San Diego to take on the Padres. And yes, glad to be of help on that conflict, but that was a very brutal playthrough. As for what's coming up on the channel, Saturday there's a recipe change on Mystical Munchies. I was originally doing Shang-Chi's salt and pepper squid rings, but instead I will be doing the Yancey Street cudgel on that one. It's a Jewish recipe. Sunday, we'll be continuing the winter campaign in Arkham Horror, the card game, with the second scenario of Scarlet Keys, as we are dancing mad. Wednesday next week, we'll be jumping back into our German America bomber in our alternate timeline of World War II, as we play America Bomber, Evil Queen of the Skies, from Compass Games. Thank you for watching the video. Please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to turn on notifications so you get my content. Be well, stay safe, take care of yourselves and your loved ones, and I'll be back with more videos in the future. Until then, take care, everyone.